everyone. I'm Benny Chavez with Prudential California Realty, and the reason why I decided to post this today is I feel that a lot of homeowners that are facing foreclosure or are a little bit behind on their payments, I think the general feeling overall is, give me a little time, eventually I'm going to catch up. And with that said, I think that sometimes we look at just being behind 1 month on our payments as, you know, I'll eventually catch up. Well, one thing you want to take into consideration is that banks in their foreclosure timeline process, you see it as, you know, 1 month I'm going to catch up, but the minute you become late on your payments, they start a timeline process. And I'm going to go ahead and explain that to you and explain your options so you could see that. So first, let me draw up here actually use a red. This is the foreclosure timeline. And it starts here when you miss your first payment. And what it does is you can go out 90 days, which roughly we could say is a total of 3 payments. Okay. At that time, what happens is we have a NOD, which is a notice of default. At that time, the bank has the option to accelerate the process of foreclosure. Usually the NOD period lasts for another 3 months. And from that point on, instead of saying 3 months, let's go ahead and take that out and call it 90 days as well. Okay? Although a lot of us think of that. What happens then, you get to a notice of trustee sale filing, which is just like the notice of default, but it's a notice of trustee sale. From that point on, you have only 21 days left to the sale. And here's the sale. And what will happen there is just it'll go to the courthouse. Now, the reason I wanted to show you guys this is because when we're in this area here, this already started. If you don't cure any of these days that have been, or monthly payments that have been lost, this keeps on going. So once it becomes a second month, you're on that timeline. When you get here, you're at 90 days. Now you've got your notice of default. Now, is it safe to say that some banks are not necessarily executing this process right at 90 days? Yeah, it is. It does happen. I've known cases where people have gotten their notice of default after 120 days. But for California legal, real estate legal foreclosure, 90 days is enough for the bank to file a notice of default, and at that point start their foreclosure process. Now, let me talk to you guys about a loan mod. We're going to use a green marker because those are good things, right? A loan mod could possibly help you keep your home. Now, of course, we have seen foreclosures or loan mods lately, and let me show you guys here. Loan mod, you could start it here when you've missed your payment, and actually you can even contact. This is the thing that some of you guys don't know, is that you could contact the bank prior to that, prior to missing your payment. Well, anyways, here you go, 3 months. Okay, so that's there. To a maximum, I would say, of probably 5 months, so somewhere roughly around here, okay, is what a loan mod can take. And obviously, that's all subject to the bank approving that loan mod and what you're showing them. So that means you have to document your income that you have, any of your expenses, and then at the end of the day, it's up to the bank to decide whether or not. What I see normally is that 9 out of 10 loan mods that have been processed, 1 is successful. Now here's the sad thing, of that 1 that is successful, it never, almost never, is to the satisfaction of that borrower. See, a lot of us have a $3,000 payment that we can no longer make. We can afford maybe $2,200. Well, the bank sometimes only slashes $200 off that monthly payment. Sometimes they won't drop the amount that you owe to that bank. So anyways, if you do a loan mod and you start here, this is why we wanted to draw this out, is if you start here, this is great. But what if you start here doing your loan mod, okay? I'm sorry, let me use the red here. What if we start here to do our loan mod at the time that we get our notice of default? Now remember, it could go from 3 to 5 months, right? 5 months here, okay? But if you started here at month number 3 where you got your NOD, you could possibly end up somewhere in here, right? Because this is 90 days here, so 3 months. Actually, you might actually end up somewhere over here if the bank's not quick enough to give you your loan mod. What does that mean? Time is of the essence, and that's what I wanted to really draw to you guys here today, was that the fact that a loan mod can take anywhere from 3 to 5 months, and if you're not processing it, you know, when you first have the problem, you know, you could end up here. And what is the bank going to do? This timeline here, it keeps running. It doesn't stop unless someone in the department doing the loan mod decides to say, hey guys, up here in the foreclosure department, hey, let's give them a chance, let's slow down, let's stop this. And that seems to be something that happens in this market a lot. Another one that we're going to go ahead and draw out here for you guys is the short sale. Usually in short sales, the way it works, I always get called when the notice of default gets hit. That's when usually people call me. I've had a couple that call me once they have the notice of default. Notice of trustee sale. What happens there is 21 days. Now, our short sales are taking anywhere from 2 to 6 months. I've seen some go as far as a year, believe it or not. With Bank of America, I had one about a year and a half ago. Took almost a year. I want to say just under a year to get it done. Not 2 to 6 months. So anyways, let's say you did the short sale and you don't have to be in default. Okay, that means you don't have to be in arrears. You don't have to have missed any payments to do a short sale. You can process it that way. So let's say you started your initiation of short sale here, 2 to 6 months. 2 months, you'd be somewhere here, right? That's 2 months, okay? If it went out more and went down to 6 months, we're here at the at 6 month line here, we'd be right at the notice of trustee sale if you did it without being in default, okay? Because that's 6 months here, okay? The problem is most homeowners sometimes, it's sad to say this, but the prices were so high that, you know, sometimes we figure that we are going to catch up with our home, but the problem is that the truth of it is it's very hard to get your home back once you're in default and in this situation where your loan went up higher on your payments. So anyways, just by saying that, if you initiate early on time, you're good. You're going to be able to hang in there and possibly get it done by this date. But usually we get called here. That giving us 2 months, see, if you started here at 2 months and we're able to get a successful short sale at 2 months, then we'll get it done here, right? Which is still good. You still would have had a month left for the notice of trustee sale. The problem is not always do we get our short sales there. When it's a 2 month process and we get hired at the notice of trustee sale, which is here, I mean, really, that's 21 days is definitely not enough time to do it. Hopefully all this scrabble doesn't get you guys all confused or anything, but I think the main message of this whole timeline is the fact that you need to do this now. If you are in default, you have many options, but you need to do something about it today. All right? So thank you very much for your time, and if you have any questions, we're here to help. BennyChavez.com. You can reach me at 562-896-7979 or direct at our office at 562-677-8981. Thank you.